You said in an interview, someday I'll straighten that out. You don't have to, but is it something you'd like to straighten out?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things I Want to Dance with Somebody got factually right and wrong.
I sing what I want to sing, be how I want to be, and reach as big an audience as I can.
For this list, we'll be looking at plot points in the Whitney Houston biopic that were true to the singer's life, and others that were tweaked for the sake of storytelling. What did you think of I Want to Dance with Somebody? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Houston's Nippy nickname. Right.
I never called her Whitney. Always called me Nippy.
To her fans, the music industry, and the rest of the world, Whitney Houston was the voice. To her closest friends and family, she was Nippy. Throughout I Want to Dance with Somebody, those in Houston's inner circle affectionately refer to her using this nickname. While this is accurate, the film doesn't delve into why they called her Nippy.
My father gave me that nickname, and I've been Nippy since I can remember.
It's been said that her father, John Houston, derived the name from a comic strip, presumably Nippy Nibs. As a baby during the winter, the fussy Whitney would kick off her blanket at night. John would say, "Nippy, seldom right," alluding to the mischievous comic character. The nickname stuck well into adulthood, so much so that Houston's management company was dubbed Nippy Inc.
Nippy's me. I am Nippy.
Number 9. How Clive Davis discovered Houston. Right. A background singer who eventually went solo, Cissy Houston trained her daughter to sing from the head, heart, and gut. Whitney provided backup for her mother at a New York club. One night, Cissy pretended like she couldn't sing, asking a then-teenage Whitney to take the spotlight.
My voice is gone. What? You start the show tonight. No talking back. I'm your mother.
In the movie, Clive Davis is present on the first night that Whitney assumes center stage. This seems off, as Whitney was already regularly singing 2 songs during her mother's act. Davis also wasn't the only record producer interested in Whitney, entering a bidding war with Bruce Lundvall of Elektra.
Every night, one of the labels would come down to the show. The next day, one of the offers would get bigger. And the next night, Bruce Lundvall would come down to the show with flowers. The next night, Clive would come back again with flowers, and then the offer would get bigger.
However, Davis was indeed encouraged by Jerry Griffith to check out Whitney's act. After attending the show, it was only a matter of time before Davis signed her.
I think from the beginning, Clive saw Whitney as somebody who could conquer the world.
Number 8. Houston didn't write any of her songs. Wrong. After signing Houston, Davis asks her if she can write music. Houston says that she only sings, but Davis assures her that there are plenty of songwriters out there. It's true that Houston was a singer first and foremost, with her most iconic songs being written by others. However, the film neglects to mention that Houston did have a few co-writing credits. Her most notable collaborations were with Babyface. The two co-wrote Queen of the Night with L.A. Reid and Daryl Simmons. They teamed up again for Count on Me, which Houston performed with CeCe Winans. Houston also had writing credits for What You Lookin' At, I Didn't Know My Own Strength, and Something in Common, the latter of which she sang with then-husband Bobby Brown.
Calling pop culture superfans everywhere. Do you love to argue with WatchMojo's top 10 ranks? Introducing WatchMojo's first and very own party game. Bring your superpowers to the table and fight for your pick to be at the top of the list. It's all the fun of the comment section, but in real life.
Number 7. Houston's miscarriage. Right. It had been rumored that Houston was pregnant before tying the knot with Bobby Brown in 1992. While shooting The Bodyguard, though, she suffered a miscarriage. Houston confirmed in a 1993 interview with Barbara Walters that she sadly lost her unborn child during the production of her most successful film.
Was it very painful? Emotionally and physically?
As tragic as this was for her, Houston returned to work the following day, although she would take some time off to recuperate. By the time Houston sat down with Walters, she had given birth to Bobby Christina Brown.
Bobby, 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 my baby.
While the film explores one miscarriage, Houston reportedly endured at least 2 more in 1994 and 1996. Bobby Christina was the only baby Houston carried to term, but her life also ended in tragedy in 2015.
Fans of Whitney Houston long hoped her daughter would find in life what she was looking for, enjoying the best of her birthright. It was not to be.
Number 6. Houston was quick to accept The Bodyguard. Wrong. When Davis hands Houston the script for The Bodyguard, she initially passes. Houston immediately changes her mind when she learns that Kevin Costner is playing the bodyguard.
Well, you don't look like a bodyguard.
What'd you expect?
Well, I don't know. Maybe a tough guy?
This is my disguise.
In reality, Houston was hesitant to star in the 1992 drama, but it took more than a casting announcement to get her on board. Houston had issues with the character of Rachel Marin, feeling she was underdeveloped in the first draft.
And don't laugh at me. Don't you dare judge me.
Oh, give me a break, will you?
She remained on the fence even after the script went through rewrites. After a few months, Houston was finally convinced upon receiving a comforting phone call from Costner himself. Costner not only deserves credit for persuading Houston, but also for suggesting that she sing Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You instead of What Becomes of the Brokenhearted. Number 5. Houston was booed at the Soul Train Awards. Right. Houston was an inspiration to African American artists, but some of her more closed-minded critics argued that she wasn't, quote, black enough.
That's just bull. And it makes me angry, actually. It's hateful and uninformed.
Even as a kid, Houston was ridiculed by others in the community for having a lighter complexion. Although Houston put up a tough front, there is no denying that these harsh words got under her skin. Nowhere was this more apparent than at the 1989 Soul Train Awards.
They booed me at the Soul Train Awards.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure. You know, you can't ask a whole crowd, what was that about?
When Houston's category came out, a mix of cheers and boos could be heard from the crowd. It was the boos that stuck with Houston, who knew they stemmed from the perception that her music was, quote, too white. That night forever changed Houston's life as she met her future husband Bobby Brown, who sat in front of her.
Don't even worry about it. You're Whitney Houston.
Number 4. How Bobby Brown proposed. Maybe. There are varying stories about how Bobby Brown popped the question. I Want to Dance with Somebody depicts the version where the two are in the back of a car. According to Brown, Houston accepted on the spot and asked the driver to pull over. The film adds a bit where Brown tells her that his ex-girlfriend, Kim Ward, is pregnant with his child, which is why Houston gets out of the car. Houston gave a different account of their courtship.
People thought, what's so odd? She's sophisticated, and he's unrefined, that Bobby Brown.
We from the hood, and Bobby was a black boy.
She claims that when Brown proposed, she said, quote, "Forget about it. No way. It's just not in my plans." About a year later, though, Houston had grown closer to Brown and accepted his second proposal.
Bobby was a really funny and fun guy to hang around with. You know, he made her laugh.
Whichever version is true, it wouldn't be the happiest marriage.
I think she might have believed she was in love with Bobby, but I really think it was more of a codependent relationship.
Number 3. Money led to tension between Houston and her father. Right. Serving as Whitney's manager, it's been claimed that John Houston stole a lot of money from his daughter over the years. Their relationship reached its breaking point when John Houston Enterprise sued for $100 million, arguing that Whitney hadn't paid the company for negotiating her Arista Records contract.
My money. I trusted you. You were meant to look out for me.
The film leaves out Kevin Skinner, the company president who filed the lawsuit. While Whitney claimed her father wasn't involved in the lawsuit, Skinner said John was also a plaintiff.
She was Daddy's little girl, and then Daddy turns around and wants to sue her for $100 million. That would break anybody's heart. She just held on to it, and it ate her up inside.
In any case, the lawsuit got thrown out about a year after John died. Despite their differences, Whitney brought herself to forgive her father, believing that others were manipulating him during his sick state. Although she didn't attend his funeral, Whitney did mourn privately.
There was so much press and so many, media. So much of the media was following me around. I couldn't grieve in privacy. So I had my own service.
Number 2, Houston's drug dealer. Right. Houston is among the many talented artists whose lives ended far too soon due to substance use disorder. I Wanna Dance with Somebody leaves out a few chapters in Houston's history with drugs, most notably her interview with Diane Sawyer.
I can't believe that. But do you really know? Did you really know?
Houston also went to rehab more than once. On the whole, however, the film does get to the root of Houston's drug problem, which contributed to her accidental drowning in 2012. Before Houston's death in the film, she's seen interacting with a familiar, quote, fan asking for an autograph. It turns out that this is actually her drug dealer. In real life, Houston reportedly purchased drugs 2 days before her passing. Her dealer, David Joseph, hid the drugs in a pen while Houston included the money with her signature.
We finally come to an end. Oh well.
Number 1. Houston's sexuality. Right. Houston's sexuality didn't have a conclusive label. Based on everything we know about the singer, though, the film explores her sexuality from every angle.
My dream, sing what I want to sing, be how I want to be.
During her early days of fame, Houston denied being in an intimate relationship with Robin Crawford, her best friend, roomie, and executive assistant. Crawford also initially shot down these accusations, but 7 years after Houston's death, she confessed that their relationship had been sexual.
We were intimate on many levels, and all I can say was that it was very deep and we were very connected.
That changed after Houston entered the public eye, becoming romantically entangled with names like Jermaine Jackson and Bobby Brown.
She had those because those were expected of her, and she liked men too.
Houston married Brown and repeatedly professed her love for him. While she had a falling out with Crawford, many believed Houston's life would have turned out much differently had their relationship been accepted by her family and society.
I still loved her the same, and she loved me, and that was good enough.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.